Ninjake.
Yo ninjas, welcome back to NINJABOX, Ishhh, and what did you eat today? Yes, welcome back to the show, welcome back to another drawing video. So in this video I'm gonna draw this mustache guy. Been drawing this, finished this.
Nice.
You've probably already seen it in the thumbnail, the finished drawing. But we're gonna get into this piece and show you ninjas the process of it, a speed time lapse, and then me talking over the drawing, how it went. Let's get into it. So right here, first started with a sketch. I used a reference that I found on Pinterest. I have the image right here, or if I can put it in here. I couldn't find the original source or the person who made the picture or who was even on the picture, but I used a reference for the pose of this because I wanted to draw something to practice my manga skills and also draw on the size of an actual manga page that you draw on. The Shonen Jump traditional manga size. It's like 260 millimeters times 65 millimeters, and then in that frame you have another one that is 180 times 270 millimeters. So in this frame I drew this sketch. I really wanted this character. I just wanted to draw a character with a pose, but then just make my own design for it or whatever. And I wanted to draw this mustache because I really like that kind of mustache. I tried to grow it myself, but I don't think it works because of my genes or whatever. But hey, if you can have such a mustache, it's really cool. Or like a big beard, like Gandalf or whatever. So yeah, mostly the sketch, designing some stuff in here, a mustache, some stars in there, because also this is like a sort of, it could be a party time character, like someone in the bar or whatever, or, you know, with Party Time, the manga that I'm still creating, the world is diverse and any kind of character can happen or appear in it, you know, like with Dragon Ball, One Piece, many types of characters can appear in there. And then later I also used some rulers for the windows behind it, because yeah, in this one I also wanted to draw some more background in it. Well, a little bit of background, because I don't do it a lot when just drawing characters. Well, yeah, for this one I wanted to have a sort of complete illustration, like as if it was an intro page. Like sometimes in manga you have intro pages, right, when you flip open a manga book volume, and then for example, I've recently read Radiant or other mangas. You have like mostly a character or a few characters for the introduction of a chapter, so for example chapter 20 or whatever, and then you have a character there with a title, you know, introducing the chapter. For this one it's an actual page, or it could be a page. It's not, it's a full page then in this case. Normally on this size you have more panels, you know, if you have panels on your page, but you can also have one panel pages that like put the character in front of it, like when an important moment for a character or whatever, you probably use a big page to, you know, the bigger the panel, the more important that certain scene is. So when finished the sketch, drew with the G pen, inking the balloons and, you know, the whole character with the G pen. I really enjoyed to do that. There's also this technique you can do by burning a bit of your G pen. I'm not sure if I did it with this one. I'm not even sure if I should do it. I think there was something about the flow of the G pen that's why you have to do that. You know, when you have a brand new G pen, so the nib is like the G pen, and then you have the holder of the nib. And here basically I'm just you know, inking the sketch on a light table, a small light table that I got, a flat one. I like this light table because it's compact, and yeah, if you've seen my previous reviews or when I'm unboxing it. Oh yeah, also here I have the balloon here, but I made a mistake, you know, because making that balloon sometimes is a bit hard for me, so you have to make the moves right. So as you can see, there were some errors in there, but that's easily to change or correct with some white stuff. But yeah, that's for later, because right now it's wet and I'm letting it dry first before doing anything else. And since I'm right-handed, it's important to remember that inking from left to right, so that you don't smudge the ink. because the ink that I have, it's kind of still wet when you ink on it. That's why also, you know, sometimes I have to wait a bit to continue inking certain other parts, because sometimes you need to have certain moves that I have to do when inking a piece, but then I need to go over the ink again, and I don't want to smudge it, so I use sometimes paper or other tissues to check out if the ink is already dried up. Sometimes I also have a hair dryer. In this case I don't have one right now, so I have to wait a little bit for it to dry up before inking the background. You probably have inks that dry faster, but for this one I just want to make for sure that I don't smudge it, because when I smudge it, so that feeling of it's like shit, I smudged it. Even with the little balloon for the text, that mistake, it was like shit, I couldn't do it right in one go. But because there you can use some text corrector, the white stuff, you still can, you know, change it. But for some things in drawings it's harder. If you would, for example, color with Copic markers, then it's harder for that process, but that's for another video. But yeah, here I also have the round ruler to make the sort of borders for the windows, because it's kind of round windows kind of things. I'm still practicing this technique to make it more neat and solid. You probably could also do this with the G pen or the smaller Maru pen or the smaller G pens. You know, you have different types of pens with Manga for objects, but I still have to practice that kind of stuff more often, and also not to smudge it. So, and also with the borders currently for the windows, for example, I haven't used the G pen or the other nibs, but just a fine liner, just that it is not gonna smudge for this one. But I know you can also do it with the actual nibs, but still have to practice that. And yeah, the smudging things have to practice it as well. There was this dude on Instagram or something that made these tutorials. I forgot his name right now, but he makes a lot of Dragon Ball drawings traditionally. So that's also handy to learn from that person. Yeah, I have to get more into that as well. But I'm still practicing the craft as this is a practice illustration as of we going to do this. While we're doing this, you know, I guess it's always still practicing the craft, improving your skill. And for the big black parts, I just use cheap as markers that I got at the Action, or I think at the Action you can get like 4 pieces of marker for $1 or something. It's just to fill it up, and you can later just digitally, you know, make it a bit darker if it's needed, or go more times over it if it's not dark enough. You technically could also just kind of color the big black parts digitally. It's faster with the bucket tool, I think, but for this one I just want to have the traditional drawing be completed with those things as well. Yes, it's just want to hold this finished piece in my hand. Well, it's not completely finished, since the text also need to be digitally added. But yeah, this is basically how I currently do it. And I think I also did some of the Balto and stuff with the G pen. Normally I also do it with a smaller nib, because the character needs to be more in the front than the background. So that's also something to keep in mind, that the lines for the character are a bit thicker if they are in the foreground, unless you have an object in the foreground that needs to be more to the front. But for this one, the character is the most important, and then the background, and also the way the balloons are being read. So it can be read both ways, from right to left or left to right. But I think if you put it on social media, for example, I think most people read it from left to right instead of right to left. So yeah, but you can read it how you want. So yeah, sorry, there was my alarm. My Ninja-chan is coming home, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, this is most of it, you know. It's just how it's done, and I make little sort of cross hatches for the windows around the character, so that I have a little bit of space around the character that I want to make it more stand out from the background. You see this also in other manga if you look closely, so that the characters are, you know, a bit separated with something around the character, so it doesn't fall, it doesn't merge too much into the background, so that the character comes more to the foreground. So basically making a sort of white or glow around the character, that the character is to the foreground. You see this a lot in manga, I believe, or at least the ones that I read, One Piece, also Radiant and other ones, most of them. Also here I'm drawing some on a separate paper stuff for the windows, so that I can cut it out, so I can add some stars. I really enjoy making stars with a brush. It's just this little technique that I enjoy to use, you know, adding some stars in the sky. Yeah, there's something about it, and for this one it's not that big. Like I made a few drawings before this one that I have bigger skies with stars in it. But for this one it's just the windows, and this is a technique you can use to add those stars in there. And yeah, when you look out the window, as you can see the moon and the bigger star in there as well. And then we have the bottle, making the letters more to the front by making more contrast in it, instead of keeping the background white or black, you know, that you can, you know, that it goes more to the front. Since this is a black and white drawing, maybe with some tones that you technically can add, it's important to remember, for me, with my manga and practicing these kinds of illustrations, also for practicing the manga craft, with these kinds of drawings, I want to practice the technique that you don't have to use a lot of tones in the manga, like how they do with Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Radiant, Naruto. Maybe Naruto is a bit more tones, but it's kind of, I think they're the same kind of school, you know, that like also from Akira. You have the movie, the anime movie, and then also the manga. I think they don't use a lot of tones. Even Hayao Miyazaki with his manga, I think he also doesn't use too much screen tones, so that just from the black and white drawing you can already see what's happening, and then not overuse screen tones, or at least, yeah, it also saves time. But it's also the kind of aesthetic that I want to implement in my own manga, and that's why I'm also practicing it. Like, you can use a lot of tones for everything, for every little close and stuff, but that's not what I want to, how my manga that it's gonna look like. So that's why I didn't do that for this drawing. Well, if I do tones, I will do it mostly digital, since I don't have the traditional screen tones right now. I did have some when I was in Japan, but I forgot where it was, and it's only a little bit, and I checked out online, but it's kind of hard to get for me right now. Maybe if you know some good ones, websites that ship to Europe, it's yeah, let me know if there is. But that it also is not too expensive, you know, because if products come from America, it's a lot of shipping cost. And I also checked out some manga paper from Japan, but it's really expensive with the shipping cost as well. So I found some on Amazon. I searched it before and then it didn't go as planned, and then later still found some manga paper with the blue lines and stuff, so ordered that. Still have to wait for that, but want to use those papers for the actual traditional pages. I'm still working on the manga for the contest, but yeah. So this is basically the drawing, the illustration. Yeah, it speaks for itself, right? So yeah. So that's it for this drawing. Thank you for joining once again. Thank you also to all the patrons that supported once again, and everybody that watched. And also thank you for all the feedback on the last video, the Tezuka manga contest. So if you don't know, there's this Shonen Jump or Tezuka manga contest that you can participate in. Check out the previous video if you want to check that out. So you can also participate with your manga. But yeah, this is an illustration that I made. I'm not sure how to call it yet. Probably, well, it's now probably in the title already. I just also wanted to draw this character with a mustache and some stars, a bit of that party time vibe-ish, you know, thing. And yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments about it, or how your manga is going, or for the contest or things like that. And yeah, how your process goes maybe, or yeah, what's your favorite anime manga currently that you're still reading? I'm currently up to date with One Piece. Also recently finished reading 2 volumes of Radiant, book 8 and 9, or it's also number 10, because it's really cool how Tony Valente does his manga, and I like the aesthetics he use, like the Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, Shonen kind of school, you know, not too much tones, more black and white that you can, you know, I just enjoy his manga and story as well. But yeah, that's it for this drawing. Ranting a little bit about manga here. But yeah, thank you for sticking so far if you still sticked. And yeah, man, thank you for joining once again. Yeah, don't forget to thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and triple thumbs up if you enjoyed it even more. And yeah, comment down below, subscribe to see more content like this, and if you enjoy this types of content, or what kind of drawings you want to see more of, just let me know in the comments. Yeah, stay safe and take care of yourself, ninjas. Yes, thank you for joining once again, NINJABOX, Ishhh, and see you ninjas the next time. Ninjakees out. Ninjakees.